And while you were Chief of Staff at DOD, how many times did DOD approach Capitol Police and ask if they needed National Guard assistance?
I believe those letters are well documented, numerous instances, and in numerous of those instances, those requests were shut down.
Now, am I correct that the Capitol Sergeant at Arms said assistance was unnecessary?
That's correct, Senator.
Who did the Sergeant at Arms report to?
The Speaker of the House.
That would have been Nancy Pelosi at the time. Is that correct?
Yes, Senator.
And would that also be Chuck Schumer, then the Senate Majority Leader?
The Sergeant at Arms, yes, Senator, reports up there.
Kash Patel drops bombshell testimony on what really happened before and during January 6th. Who shut down the National Guard? Who's really responsible? You won't believe what he reveals. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most explosive revelations about January 6th. Kash Patel, former Chief of Staff at the Department of Defense, just laid it all out, and what he said changes everything. Who really refused National Guard protection? Who had the authority but declined to act? And why are the media and politicians still covering up the truth? This is a takedown you cannot afford to miss. Let's dive right in.
This one really takes the cake. So let's just focus on some facts. Let me ask you a question. What role did you occupy in the days immediately before January 6th?
Chief of Staff of the Department of Defense.
You were the Chief of Staff at the Department of Defense.
Yes, sir.
So to be clear, you were not rioting at the Capitol?
No, sir.
Okay. Where were you physically on January 6th?
In the office of the Secretary of Defense in the Pentagon.
And what were you doing on that day?
On that day specifically, responding to preparing to mobilize and deploy the National Guard once we got the lawful request from the local governing authority, which was the mayor of D.C. and the Speaker of the House.
Now, how many days in advance were you working to prepare the Department of Defense to help secure the Capitol on January 6th?
Days in advance, Senator. We were in the Oval Office on an unrelated national security matter with the President of the United States, the Secretary of Defense, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and myself. And the President authorized up to 20,000 plus National Guardsmen and women to secure any security measures necessary related to the Capitol. So we were moving to the fullest extent of the law before the requisite request came from a local governing authority days ahead of time.
And while you were Chief of Staff at DOD, how many times did DOD approach Capitol Police and ask if they needed National Guard assistance?
I believe those letters are well documented, numerous instances, and in numerous of those instances, those requests were shut down.
Now, am I correct that the Capitol Sergeant at Arms said assistance was unnecessary?
That's correct, Senator.
Who did the Sergeant at Arms report to?
The Speaker of the House.
That would have been Nancy Pelosi at the time. Is that correct?
Yes, Senator.
And would that also be Chuck Schumer, then the Senate Majority Leader?
The Sergeant at Arms, yes, Senator, reports up there.
Did Mayor Bowser, the Democrat elected mayor in D.C., either request or allow National Guard assistance?
She put in writing on the days leading up to January 6th, a declination for National Guard additional support. And that letter is available publicly to the world.
And just to speak English for folks at home, a declination meant she said no, don't send National Guard. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a simple question, because from the questioning from my Democrat colleagues, they might think otherwise. Do you condemn violence against law enforcement?
All of it.
And by the way, is that true whether the violence is right-wing or left-wing or anywhere else?
There is no discriminating between types of violence against law enforcement.
And do you believe those who assault and commit violence against law enforcement should be prosecuted and should be sent to jail?
Especially those that kill them.
Kash Patel spent 16 years in public service, over a decade in law enforcement and national security. But instead of recognizing his efforts to protect the Capitol, Democrats attacked him. Why? Because he was on the wrong side of their narrative. This is the playbook: deny responsibility, shift blame, and smear the people telling the truth. And let's be clear, Patel condemns all violence, whether it comes from the left, the right, or anywhere else. But that doesn't fit their agenda, does it? If you're tired of the lies, drop a truth in the comments below. What is the job of the FBI? To protect American citizens and uphold the Constitution. That's how it's supposed to be. But is that really what's happening today? When the real threats come knocking, are they focused on them, or are they too busy playing political games? It's time for answers. It's time for accountability. Kash Patel just shattered the mainstream narrative. The National Guard was authorized in advance. Pelosi, Schumer, and Bowser refused help. The Democrats are spinning a false story to cover up their failures. They don't want you to know the truth. But we're bringing it straight to you, so before you go, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and share this video, because the more people know, the harder it is for them to bury the truth. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and I'll see you in the next one.